I remember when this twin flame thing. I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard it, I was like, I don't know about this. What is
Where'd
that?
you first hear it?
I mean, you know how you hear it like in the wind. Like I wasn't into it, so I heard it in the wind because I be on YouTube. I heard it in the wind. Twin flame reading or lady talking about the twin flame. I'm like, it felt like people who thought they was destined to be together. That's what it felt. That's what it sounded like, kind of. I ain't never looked into it, so I ain't know. But that's what it sounded like. It sounded like that type of situation. So I kind of was like, oh, all right. I guess that's what it is. But then I also heard about what's the other one? The soul twin?
Soulmate?
Yeah.
Soulmate?
Yeah. What I say, the soul twin? That one. And I couldn't tell the difference. I thought they was the same thing, but sometimes it sounds like they're not the same thing.
Right.
So I don't know, but then it'd be scams with it. You know what I'm saying? And then, you know, but for me, on a spiritual level, from what I understand, is like, you know, just people, it's a concept where it's like, I guess two people, no matter what, they end up together, or no matter what, they gotta pass each other's path. You know what I mean? Because I think life is what some people say that some things in life are destined, right? Or life is destined. But I believe like some things are destined, and then some things ain't destined. Like I think some people in your life, some things like a peg, some things are just part of the experience. And no matter what, those things are going to be there. But other stuff may not be destined, like details may not. But I think certain people and places may be destined. And that's me just guessing, because I don't know either.
Right.
But this is how I feel. That there are some things about life that are destined. And there are some things that, I think that sometimes there are events, if you believe in reincarnation, right? There may be events that happen again. But maybe they happen differently. I don't know, but it's a nice conversation. But the twin flame thing has always been, and it didn't really interest me, but it just seemed like a lot of people was into it, especially women. So maybe you can speak to that. But it seemed like a lot of mental craziness too. But we get into that too. But I don't know.
Listen, I don't even know where to start, because let's just say, like, I believe it is a thing. Like, I think that there is this phenomenon of there being this other soul or person that exists on a plane where, like, you are I don't want to say you volunteer, because I don't know if I believe that yet, but
I know what you mean.
I think that there are two souls that incarnate together to accomplish something in the lifetime that they're in. But that's not what I first thought. Like, I also was pulled into it because of the whole relationship thing. But it's so funny because I have friends that have kind of gone through similar things as women.
Twin flame.
Yep. And you know, everybody.
So the whole fake guru thing be real?
I mean, I think everybody comes to that point of believing that the same way. It seems to me like some type of childhood trauma.
Yeah, it's possible.
Like the women I know didn't really have that solid of a relationship with their dad or their mother, one or the other.
Yeah.
And when you lack that relationship as a child with your father, it gets really deep. It got deep for me. Yeah, and these are things I didn't know until I got into therapy later on on my journey. I didn't know certain things, but in hindsight, I just thought it was this crazy, strange, like, phenomenon. And at first I wasn't even talking about it because things did happen to me, like supernatural things.
Yeah.
That's the part a lot of people aren't able to talk about, because not everybody experiences that. And that I think when you do, it adds a layer of confusion when you're not grounded spiritually. So you cling on to this idea of a person being the one because you're, purpose to do something in the earth.
So you may got niggas who maybe for 20 years maybe waiting for somebody.
Oh,
see, that's the shit that's crazy.
Yeah,
to me.
I've seen, I read comments when I'm looking at YouTube. When I used to watch a lot of YouTube videos about it, of course, because I thought that was the type of dynamic I was in. So I would see comments and people holding space. Some people say they call it holding space for the person because the person is unhealed if they're running away from you. There's a part of them that's unhealed, but when you heal, they heal, and then you'll come together. So there's this promise of something called union. Religion. Yeah.
They done turn something that, if it's a thing, it's a spiritual, natural thing.
Right.
But when you build a code around it, see, that's my problem with a lot of this shit. Because we get caught up in it because of religion. See, to me, this shit got all to do with religion. Because religion had you really caught up like that. You'll fall into a cult and not even know because you're so used to being around religion. You'll be in some shit and don't even know you caught up. You know what I mean?
Yep. A
lot of shit be happening, even in the Aboriginal and so-called Pan-Indian community. See cults popping up.
Oh, yeah.
Because people, you know what I mean? Because when you, like I said, when you had those traumas of being a young person and your thing with your fathers and things like that, people had that. Men and women had those issues.
Yep.
And that's how you get caught up. That's like I got caught up in religion for that same reason. I ain't had no dad coming up. I ain't really had no male figure, not like that.
Right.
Here and there. So religion looked tasty.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But
yep, a lot of us fall into that.
Yep.
I did too. But religion, it was just an interesting journey because at the same time, I think as we talk about this more, we'll cover different topics because there's just so much to it. But I can say, looking back on it, I learned a lot about myself. Because I had to look at myself and ask myself, tough questions. Why would you allow someone to treat you this kind of way? I had to really figure that out about myself. And I'm still figuring things out, but
the twin flame thing, it does that. See, the twin flame thing, for people who had those issues or those traumas, it's easy to get caught in it. Because if you feel hurt and feel like the man you're supposed to trust, you're a woman that has that trauma, it's easy for somebody to play games with you with this twin flame thing.
Oh, yeah. Especially when they're conscious of it.
That's what I'm saying. It don't take much for a man to make a woman. He can do the littlest thing.
Yep.
So it ain't like in the twin flame thing, especially when a woman's into that, that's a big thing. And if a man knows anything about it, she's just going to fall all over him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying, but it can be used for the wrong thing, that's all. And it seems like, to me, the whole twin flame thing, and people not understanding it correctly, it can really be a problem for somebody.
It's definitely a problem. You got people spending hundreds of dollars a week on readings about a person. And of course, there's people out there that will take your money and tell you, oh, yeah, I see him healing and, just continue to hold space. And some might tell you, oh, date other people. And some might just not tell you the truth. Like, you need to talk to a therapist and,
figure this out.
Figure yourself out because this is not healthy.
All it is another way for a human being not to deal with themselves.
It can't, and that's the thing. I think there's
not that the concept, meaning the belief that the person you end up with, a person you fall in love with, may or may not be the one that's always going to be there, or the one that you suppose that's the one that no matter what was going to happen, y'all was going to connect. That's probably true, but I don't know. But it seems logical, but the problem is that being as though you can't know for sure, people can play on that. And that's the dangerous part. This is why you got to heal before you even start thinking about it being a twin flame or soulmate or anything. You gotta have some type of healing. Healing is a journey. You're not going like you're gonna end up somewhere and you're gonna be healed 100%. You know what I'm saying? Especially in this age that we're in. Right. But what I can say, there gotta be some type of personal healing because like if you're gonna lose a twin flame thing, we're probably twin flames. You're gonna go with that. But we went on our own separate journeys though. It ain't like we sat around and you met me. I was just somewhere living, I don't know. I was doing my thing, working at a job, doing my thing. I met you, you here doing the job, had your daughters, you was doing your thing. We was both grown, living our lives. So we wasn't in like the process of the beginning of trying to figure things out.
As far as like spiritually awakened.
Yeah, that's on that level. Like we was already kind of at our level where we were. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you somebody that's into the twin flame or religion, it's another way for you not to be responsible for yourself. You're going to go through all this to wait for somebody to come. When you going to start working on you?
But at the same time, like having gone through that, I try not to, like when I do readings, I try not to give people the feeling of me looking down on them. Because I think what was necessary was the process of like awakening. I don't know that I would have really spiritually awakened had I not gone through that, because it forced me to look at myself and my patterns. So I think in a way it was a gift. Because like I said, I did experience some strange, signs and things like that. I'll talk about that on another, I think, episode. But, and I don't think that happens to everybody. But the people that I know personally, we all have had some weird phenomenon happen around this thing. So it made it even more complicated. And I think because of that, it forced me out of religion, number one, because there was just a lot that was happening supernaturally that religion couldn't explain. So I kind of naturally started backing up from it. Like, I think there's
except that they're going to say it's the devil. That's
for sure.
That's the only explanation they got.
For sure, I've been
They ain't got nothing else.
I've been told I'm backsliding, people.
Dog returned to his vomit.
Yeah, people have their
sinner,
opinion.
all this other dumb shit.
I've never really cared that much about people gossiping, but I know for me, man, it was a blessing to like walk away from the barrier of the four walls of a church. Like I felt no connection to it because I kept having these really strange like synchronicities and spiritual little things that were happening, and it made me look into esoterics. It made me look into tarot. It made me look into I don't know if they can hear that. Hopefully not. Anyway,
no,
it made me look into to like oracle, and it made me more so. It made me look into like my personal spirituality and connection with this great divine source, as I sometimes call this energy that people say God, That's just where I am with it. And I think my understanding will evolve as I evolve, because we all keep evolving, but it forced me out of the confines of religion, and it really expanded my understanding of spiritual things. And that for me was the biggest gift. So I could say, to sum up what my thoughts around it, I think it's a real, I think, phenomenon. I think it is rare, but I don't know everything, so I can't say for sure. I don't believe that every single person on the planet has a twin flame. It just doesn't make sense. I think there's specific souls that incarnate for different things. And I think though, I believe in free will. So I think that we're all maybe offered this kind of connection with a person. We might just overlook it in our lifetime and think, but you and I were kind of on the same spiritual plane. We had both left religion. We had both kind of parted ways with somebody that we were deeply tied to around the same time. And we both we're on a healing journey, but still awake enough to be learning about our culture. Like we had a lot of similarities when we met. So I feel like you and I were kind of on the same plane spiritually, in our evolution, which helped. So it's almost like, to me, it was like an unspoken agreement.
I'm gonna say this. This how I would look at the twin flame thing. And because we name things differently, people just don't. If you use like the basis law of the universe, then twin flame would make sense. I'm gonna use cause and effect, right? Causation. If the universe is mental, so that means that it's in the mind and imagination of the mother or the all. That means that in the space that we live in, this material space that we live in, there has to be something that causes something else. It's just the way it is. And it's not like we creating a situation. Situations don't create other situations. There's just causes and causes and causes that's brought us here. Like if you take some dice and you throw the dice, people just say, oh, that's chance. Chance is just a law that you don't understand. Because the dice didn't just roll and be a 7. It's the way you throw it. It's what it lands on. It's a lot that goes into making dice. It's like a whole casual causation thing happening. And that just happens. So twin flame, if you look at it from a scientific point of view, that's saying that it's two people whose souls are the same, whose journeys may be similar, whose energy may be similar. They got to come together because it has to bring about something else. Mm-hmm. So when you look at it like that and stop looking at yourself in it all the time and just look at it as, oh, it has to be somebody that I have to meet up with.
So you're saying you felt that naturally, like it made sense that you would run into somebody that you
it just makes sense in life. It just makes sense. It has to, or you might end up alone. That could be somebody's journey. I don't know. That wasn't mine, but that could have been anybody's journey. I don't know, what creates that or what's the vibration that everybody's life is on, but it has to be a causation. It has to be people. Your choices create a life for you. So there has to be an end result of everything. So if you look at your life and how it went and you look back at it, you'll see why you are where you are. Mm-hmm. There has to be somebody that fit whatever you want, because only you know what you was thinking through everything in life. What you wanted, how you wanted to feel.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like when you and I met, it was like
you only know that
we both kind of aligned spiritually. I think if there are such thing as levels, I'm just saying we both kind of were in similar places. Don't you think?
Yeah, I think so.
Mm-hmm. I think that's like attracts like. Like you're gonna attract what you are. It's gonna be drawn to you. But when you're misaligned, it's a lot of confusion. And that was definitely where I was. Just wasn't that sure of myself yet. Religion really tampers with your natural instincts.
No. Well, religion tells you
not to trust yourself.
It tells you not to trust yourself, so you don't trust yourself. So when you feel something inside that ain't right, you don't. You'll downplay it as a whisper of the devil or this or that. Like I had my doubts about religion, especially towards the end. Mm-hmm. I had my doubts, but those last couple of years you struggle because something inside is like, man, this ain't working out. Something inside is telling you that this ain't right. You know what I'm saying? So, but we don't listen to ourselves. We told that's the devil. Right. We're evil. Mm-hmm. We're born sinners. So you can't trust yourself. You don't know what you need. You don't know what's good for you. Even though you're down here living amongst yourself, sleeping with yourself, eating, thinking, you always around you. But then you got a religion that tells you that you don't know what's good for you. You understand? So constantly being told that you don't trust yourself. Mm-hmm. So what happens is that you got to go through some trials and tribulations, some fire to figure things out. That's the only That's the only thing. You know what I'm saying? So, but the whole twin flame thing, I mean, it makes sense from a scientific point of view, from causation and cause and effect. It makes sense to me. It's not something that I could disagree with. I mean, you can go to the spiritual side and say, well, you don't know this, you don't know that you can't know, you can't know this. Yeah, I'm not talking about all of that. I'm just talking about logical science. When you meet people in life, you gotta know if this person is important or not, right? Not unless you're not awake, not unless you still sleep mentally. You may meet people in your life and not know they're important.
Right.
But if you have enough consciousness to realize that a person may be important, then that may be a moment in your life. Like I said, there's peg events in a person's life. You got to understand, is this person a peg or not? That's why I'm meeting you. I know this is a peg in my life. This person means something.
How did you figure that out?
I mean, I can just feel it. I didn't have to figure it out. I just feel things. I just understand things. Things feel a certain way. They have a certain gravity to them.
Right.
And when you feel a gravity in something, you need to figure out why you feel a gravity. You need to listen and pay attention. But sometimes things don't feel like, they don't feel gravity. It feels like just a association, just a moment, a friendly moment. You know what I mean? Or whatever it might be that with anybody. You know what I'm saying? It don't have to be an intimate relationship. It could be any type of, you might meet people at work. Maybe it's not no love or hate. It's just seems this is a nice person. Y'all just happen not have any problems. But then sometimes it's people who is way more than that. It's an actual moment in your life, or a person that's going to add to your life or bring problems to your life. You don't know.
Right.
But some people important and some people are not important. You understand what I'm saying? So
I think that when you're grounded, like, it's easy to say it that way. But when you're not spiritually grounded and you're wounded and traumatized, you think any interaction is just so important, you know? And you attach meaning to everything. And you might misinterpret things because you're not grounded. And that's what's so dangerous about this religion of twin flames. Is like, you know, do I think it's a thing? Yeah, but everybody's not going to experience that. So, like, why take advantage of that? It's so crazy how people take advantage.
because the age that we're in, it's an illusion. Things like that make people feel good. It's all about gain, material gain. So people are willing to do whatever they need to get to that material gain. But if you 0 point in your energy and you in the middle and everything, you don't really care about the material world, and you don't hate the material world.
Right.
You enjoy what's enjoyable and you stay away from what's not enjoyable to you. Life is very simple that way. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, that's just that. But the whole twin flame thing, people just got to be careful when you get into it. When you don't sit around waiting 15 years from somebody, 20 years for somebody. Don't do that to yourself. There's so much of life you're missing. You don't know who you could have met, what person could have brought joy to your life. You shut off all these mechanisms that can help you prosper in your joy that you already have, and be in your joy. You sitting there waiting for somebody who may not even exist for you, because you don't know if you got a twin flame. Somebody told you that. Somebody reading cards that you was paying told you to feel good. Well, hello. You just gave somebody some money because you wanted to hear some good things. You don't think they're going to tell you that so you can keep coming back?
A lot of them do that. A lot of people do that on YouTube.
That's what I'm saying.
And you could tell because a lot of it will always be about relationships. Like, I like readers if I'm going to watch that have like a variety of, you know, topics. But you can just feel it. It's just, it's not sincere. It's just, you can feel it. But when you're broken, you hang on to, you know, everything that validates this feeling you have, and that's, sometimes it's just not real. But you have to grow in order to figure that out, and that's a good thing.
That's true. And also, people have false egos. They have two egos. They have the ego that's awareness and the ego that's false, right? So if you got ego that's awareness and that's the stronger part, that means you don't have fear and stuff. You're just aware and you're responsible, right?
Mm-hmm.
But because ego helps you to protect yourself and to make sure you're not cold and eat, that part of the ego is natural. A lot of people, man, they get caught up in their ego and they fall into the twin flame thing, and and they overthink life,
Mm-hmm.
and their mind be in the cosmos and should be right here in front of them.
That's true.
And you may even miss the person if you even have a twin flame. You may miss the person because you're sitting there waiting for somebody to show up. You don't know what that person even looks like.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And nobody's paying attention to themselves, so they wait still. You're still waiting for something. So if you still waiting for something to make you happy, and you don't have any happiness until that thing shows up, then you got a lot of work to do.
For sure.
You know what I mean? Because, I love you. I'm in love with you. I love my lady. But at the end of the day, if I never met you, I would still be happy in life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I got my own joy.
Right.
I exist on my own. But at the same time, part of existing here is to find the things that add to your joy. You can't have joy if you don't already have it.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
That's very important. Like on my journey, same thing. Like, I was traveling. I was giving myself experiences alone, learning to love me alone. That was so important, to pause and disconnect from everything and everybody so I could figure myself out, especially after divorce. Like, I was married for almost 9 years. And, I think people grow apart. It wasn't nothing volatile or anything like that, but I think people do grow apart, especially when you don't align with the religion anymore. And that person does. You just find yourself on two different pages. So it wasn't like super difficult, but it wasn't easy figuring myself out alone, single mom now, And there's a stereotype like nobody wants to date a single mom. It's just all this societal pressure that makes you cling on to anything that presents itself like it cares about you when you're broken like that. And that's the part where, like, you got to take accountability for yourself and confront yourself and ask yourself, what about you is broken that you would allow that? That's the other side of it. In a practical sense, some people have things that they need to address, traumas that they just don't address, and that's not healthy.
No, it's not. And then you find yourself, you get to start having children, you start getting in relationships that don't work out. That's only because people are not, they're so busy being mad and angry at everybody. They never stop to fix their own shit.
Right.
And instead of worrying about who's a twin flame, and instead of worrying about who's your soulmate and who's a god or a goddess, you need to really focus on you. Like, you really need to take a look at yourself.
Definitely.
And look around at your life and say, why do I keep creating the same life for me, myself, my children, the people around me? Why is my choices the same? It may not be the same people in my life, but the same scenarios are happening and the same outcomes are happening over and over again. And instead of doing that, you're looking for a twin flame. You're getting caught up in these cults and these people who don't even, they are reading new age books by new age authors. They're not even really tapped in. You know what I'm saying? To the actual essence of what it is to be tapped into another soul like that. Because twin flame is not just some game that you meet that somebody, y'all both have these things y'all all like. It's a soul thing. It's supposed to be a soul connection. It's supposed to be, you see the person, you know that's the person.
Right.
No matter what time period, what age, y'all going to run into each other, and no matter what, you're going to draw each other in. No matter if they born in California, you born in Philly, they born in New York, you born in DC or Miami, whatever, or you born in Europe. Y'all gonna find something gonna happen when y'all two souls gonna come together and create something from that. And that's a serious matter, and that's a serious thing to allege and say that's what it is.
Exactly. Yep.
So my whole thing is, don't say you the twin flame and then you the nigga on the block, or you throwing dick around. You told every girl you fucking that you twin flame. You can't do that. You can't do that and say I'm being spiritual. You understand what I'm saying? Because spirituality don't have a look. It's not like Islam or the church or Judaism where it has a look.
Yeah, it's a vibration.
It's a vibration. It's what you vibrate with. It's what benefits you on your journey. It's gonna look different. The source all the same, but the way it looks is not. Just like the source of all life is the same, but all life doesn't look the same. It's the same for everything. Everything in the life is like that. So when you say a twin flame, doesn't mean you look the same. It means your souls have the same vibration and go in the same direction. That's all it means. It don't gotta look exactly the same.
Right.
All twins are not. They just biological twins. They don't look the same.
Yep. That's why I said I think it's rare, like to be aligned on the same plane at the same time. That's what makes it feel so heavy when you are aware of that. I think that's what you and I feel, and I'm comfortable without labeling that, but I think we're both aware of that same essence, like, oh, I recognize you. But the difference now is that when you're healed from that, there's a concept. I want to talk about that in another one, but it's called limerence. Like, that is a whole other level. But like, when you come out of that illusion, like, you're comfortable not assigning labels to everything, and everything's a sign and a one. Like, you have to balance that out with logic, and I think that's where you and I are very practical, because we don't run around talking about twin flame and mission. It just kind of is happening naturally. We naturally came together and created, something. So
I don't. We don't have to turn things into spookism. Because of religion, everything is spooky. Everything is spookism. Sometimes things are just energy. Things are just the way it should be, because this is the way it is. It wouldn't be any other way. It ended up this way because this is the way it was going to end up. As far as the causation of it and what was the first cause that caused this situation, I don't know. And it's not upon me to know. What I do know is I've been shown it and given to it. It came through my path. It came through my life. So now I'm supposed to do this, because this is the direction I'm going towards it with this situation. So let me focus in on this. Let me find out what part of my life this quote unquote twin flame, why did we intertwine? Why did we come together? So which direction is it? Because this is a new part of my life. The old parts of my life, they stories now. And that's just what it is. But people they overlook the simplicity of life. When they go into these different cults and systems, and they try to help them. They try to use these systems to help them cope with life when they are them life themselves. You are life. Whatever you think and feel will be life. So, but they forget that. So they go to Yahweh, Allah. They go to Jehovah. They go to twin flame card readers. They go to, I don't know what people do. They never go to themselves, though.
It's too scary to look in the mirror. Yeah. Healing is a brave thing. I tell people, it's not for the weak. You got to really look at yourself when you want to heal. That's like trying to fix a broken leg, but you're not looking at it when you're doing the procedure. It doesn't work. You got to look at it. You got to open it up and really get in it to fix it. So,
Makes sense. I mean, I think so, but like I said, I mean, that's how I view the twin flame thing. I see it as just, if you're going to look at it from a scientific point of view and from cause and effect, that there's always a cause and effect. You want to be the cause instead of the effect. You want to be the thing causing things to happen. So I just look at it like, sometimes it's a big possibility that there are certain souls or certain energies and vibrations that's supposed to come together.
Mm-hmm.
Because look at the vibration of different chemicals and stuff in water. That all came together. Look at the different chemicals and vibration of trees and wind and sunlight.
Right.
And other animals and their vibrations. All these vibrations all around each other all day. All this life. But yet and still, it coexists to bring about life.
Right.
And life exists because of all of that. Same thing with the twin flame thing. It's just part of nature. If you're going to accept it as a concept, to understand it from a more logical standpoint, a more natural understanding, instead of always thinking everything is in the stars. Because not saying that that's not part of it, but the problem is that you up there, you're not thinking logically all the time because you never been up there.
Right, like how you function down here.
How you functioning
3D,
down here. So you need to stay in front of yourself and look at everything in a logical point of view with a touch of your emotions, because people can't survive in this realm without their emotions. Your emotions can be turned against you. So, and that's what you want to be careful, because the twin flame thing, not that it's not true, it's just that it's an emotional thing, and somebody can manipulate you with your emotions.
Yeah.
So especially for the women, for the sisters, for all women of any race, be real careful about how you approach that situation. That would be my advice. Like, heal first. Find out why you so invested in this particular person, or why you so invested in relationships like that. Look and see if there's any issues in your past or in your childhood, or anything that may be there that you may want to go deal with, and see if that's removed and managed. You might not be caught up like that. You might look at the twin flame thing a little bit differently. You know what I'm saying? And it might be better for you, but don't be hurt by your dad or your uncles or anybody or any man or any baby father and think the twin flame thing is going to help you feel better. Because the man you chasing, might be worse. So you want to heal first and vibe better, so you can get around vibing people that vibe better.
On your same plane, right?
Yeah, you don't want to be hurt inside and then go outside and live in a crappy neighborhood but feel crappy at the same time, and then go look for somebody.
Oh, say it again?
I'm saying you don't want to feel crappy in the inside and go and live in a crappy neighborhood, right? As a young indigenous woman, and you feel crappy the inside, you haven't healed internally, and the neighborhood not healed, and think you looking for a twin flame in that neighborhood. You don't want to do that, because you're not thinking straight. You're not thinking clearly, because your emotions are needed to feel your way through life. So if they're not managed, what are you feeling through? What are they going to lead you to? If you're not managing them, then who's managing who? And if your emotions are managing you, then they'll have you doing things that may not be the most logical thing. That may not be the best thing. It just feel good to you at the time. So I'm just saying, be careful with the twin flame thing, with all that stuff, because it's a feel good thing, and it can benefit you. It can be a benefit. It can be a learning experience, but also somebody can manipulate it.
Yeah.
And if somebody manipulates, they do religion, they can manipulate it. People do it all the time. They manipulate the Catholic Church, the Islam, to be dealing with children and molesting children, women. People misuse and abuse things all the time.
Definitely.
People in men in power misuse their power all the time. Women in power misuse their power all the time. So just be careful when you deal. That's something real major in your life. So your soul with somebody else's. Your private part with somebody else's. Your body on somebody else's. Like, that's major stuff. So don't just give it up because you feel good about something.
Right.
That would be my advice. And I'll just, I'll digress.
No, it's definitely a good point. Just cautioning women I think women and men, because I know some men get caught up too.
Mm-hmm.
And people do, I think, take advantage of that when they know that you're lacking something. They just, unfortunately, see that as a weakness that you need them, their presence. You're codependent on them. Some people feed off of that. So definitely a red flag. Somebody just, all of a sudden they're in love and things move quick. And I would say, if anything, move very slow with people when you know you lack something. But even more importantly, like, don't date until you're in a healed space. I would say don't even bother. Because how could you recognize red flags if you're not even aware of your own? So that would be my advice.
All right, well, peace, y'all. You know what I'm saying? This is Love and Animism. This is Traveling Bear.
And Phoenix.
You know what I'm saying? So, you heard us talking tonight, so I hope y'all loved it, man. And come back for some more. We're going to be talking about some juicy titles, especially this twin flame thing. Soulmates. We're going to be talking about different types of relationships, religion, spirituality, different any types of topics that's dealing with, people globally and also in America. So hope you join us and join in.
Good night.